Hey, David T.S. Wood here, and welcome to my extra mile. I'm here in Antigua. Look, beautiful Antigua on my boat. I've been here for a month living on board. My show today is all about a big lesson that I've had to learn about the boat and how these feelings of anxiety and fear and apprehension and doubt I really had to go through to learn how to drive such a large boat in these conditions, and how we can relate that back to everything we want in our life, all the finances, all the relationships, everything. We all have to go through this pathway, and it's so great that I'm feeling it again every time I'm learning something new. I'll give you a little tour of the boat, just part of the boat. If you want to see the rest of the boat, let me know and I'll give you a tour of the whole boat. But anyway, the most important thing is that this one lesson is life-changing. It's what changed my life when I understand that the process of learning, the process of growing, and the process of building these internal muscles. Sorry, the winds just come up. Then if I understand it and how to move through it, I can succeed. So enjoy the show. Don't forget, if you can dig and dig deep, all these things, but the notifications is really good. But what would be really helpful, if you can share this with 3 friends and just get them to listen, send them a specific show. Say, listen to this. It's only like 12 minutes long. Have a listen to this and tell them why they should listen. That would be really helpful. So we'll definitely see you on the other side. I thought I'd share something. I'm here in Antigua in the Caribbean. I've been living aboard the boat for a month now, maybe just over. And I was talking yesterday, I was actually doing a podcast yesterday, and I was interviewing this incredible lady, and her name's Brooke Lark. And we were just talking about, why so many people give up or quit or get pulled away from the things they want, the sort of the dreams they have. And I told her a story about this boat, and this boat is quite a large boat. It's 56 feet long, but it's 3 stories high because I'm up on the fly bridge. I'll give you a little tour in a second. But it's quite windy here, and the thing is that I'm a boater, let's say, but this is like a whole new animal. And so every time I get behind the helm, and like yesterday when I was bringing the boat in, you bring it into a tight confine of a dock, I go through the same feeling. And she was talking about this feeling, and it's a feeling that every single person has. If you're a network marketer and you were going to talk to a stranger, pick up the phone to follow up, it's the same feeling. It's building a muscle, and that's the thing I really wanted to talk about, was the ability to be able to build great muscles, but understanding that here I am, very, very successful, designed this incredible life, yet I'm going through the same thing and noticing the same feelings. I was getting nervous, 40 minutes out, starting to picture in my mind, because I know this is new. I've only been driving the boat for a short time. And so I know it's going to take 50 or 100 times in all different winds. You see the wind's picking up here. I hope it's not too noisy in the microphone, but 50 to 100 times behind the helm and getting used to the controls. And sometimes I'll just sit here and I'll just move the controls, because I have 2 engines, 2 diesel engines, forward and reverse, and if I put obviously one in forward and one in reverse, I can spin the boat around and backwards and forwards. But to do it, especially if I'm facing backwards, if I want to take the boat out and I want to take it out in reverse, you don't use the steering wheel with the engines, you use the engines. But it's a habit that I don't have fully grasped. So it's new, and the first time I brought it in, you should have seen it was a shit show. But because I'm a boater, because I understand the philosophy of learning, and I know I have to go through this. It's not as if I'm immune because I do so many things. I have a lot of hobbies. All it means is that because I love learning, I love that feeling of the uncertainty and the doubt and the fear and the what's the word? The fear, doubt, uncertainty. Anyway, one of those words, right? I know it's going to be there. And yesterday was just a great example, because the wind was freaking howling and I had to be back because I was doing this podcast recording. So I had no choice. It wasn't like, I'm just going to wait for the wind to subside. It's still up right now, right? But so then there was this time frame, and there was this feeling, and my partner was on the boat as well, and so but the most important thing was then the understanding the process, understanding that each time, and then I give myself great feedback. So there's a couple of things, and I want you to relate this to your own boat. It could be a relationship, it could be your business. Again, I know a lot of network marketers or side hustle businesses or direct sales people, they watch this. You're going to be nervous sharing your story. You're going to be nervous picking up the phone. And that same feeling, it's no different. The feeling is identical because the body's doing exactly the same thing. You're leaving your comfort zone. And here I am again in a situation where I wanted to have a boat I could live aboard, and 56 feet's a nice sized boat. It's gorgeous. And I wanted the freedom of being the captain. So, I could see the power, hire someone to do it. I didn't want that. I wanted the freedom to do this. But then I knew, and I had to really have this conversation with myself, Dave, you're going to be messy in the beginning. And of course, with a big, expensive boat, being messy can be expensive. But I wasn't worried about that because I understood then if I practice, right, and sometimes the engines aren't even running, and I'm in my mind, I'm imagining myself going out and steering. So if I'm thinking I want the stern to go to the left, click. Oh, if I want to go to the right, click. If I want to go full ahead, click, click. And I keep doing that over and over and over again. So I'm playing the recording in my head without actually doing it. But a lot of you won't do that. You won't practice. You won't like say practice your story, 20, 30, 50, 100 times. So it starts to come out fluidly. And then understanding that the first time you go to share it, you're going to have the same feeling I had coming in yesterday. So let me give you a little tour. So again, I just put the sunshade up here to stop the wind. So this is the fly bridge, right? So if you have a look, so the controls are up here. There's 2 pilot houses. But when you look how high this is, right? Okay, and this is the other pilot house. If you're in bad weather, there's a pilot house down below. But you see the controls here. 2 engines, forward, reverse, right? So this is the little area up here. You see how high it is? It's quite a high, but you see the wind now. Feel the wind. And this wind, this boat, because of its size, it acts like a parachute. So what happens is, again, and I know this because I have a boat in Canada, and it's on S dock, they call it, right? It's just a dock. Lots of larger boats there. It's about 36 feet. So again, 20 feet smaller than this one. But a lot of people want to go out. You know why? Because they're scared. There's one guy 3 boats down from me who has never taken it out, and I keep saying to him, why not? And he says, well, he actually, some of the newer boats, they have these little joysticks, so you don't even have to use, I'm using 2 engines, and I'm the same in Canada. But, the joystick means you just turn the joystick and the boat does what you want, right? And the fear is holding him. And I said, well, I'll come out with you. I said, what I did though, when I bought my boat in Canada, I got there early in the morning, 5:15, I think it was. And I was terrified because I'd never driven the boat before. And I thought, I'm just going to go out and back in, and out and back in, and out and back in, and out and back in. And that's what I'm doing here, is out and in, out and in. Just getting better and better and better, refining this skill set, moving from a disaster. Again, to master this will be years, because every time you come in, the wind is different, the currents are different. So you're dealing with a different thing. It's not like I can practice one move. I have to practice the confidence to be able to move the boat where I believe it has to go. And then I'm going to mess up. And when I mess up, what I don't do is I don't give up and I don't panic. What I do is in fact, when I got off the boat yesterday to my partner, the first thing I did was tell him the truth. I said, oh my God, it's so funny. I can't believe a guy that does what I do, I still feel so nervous. He's like, I know, I was feeling nervous for you, because he has to learn it as well, right? And what we did is we embraced, we give a high five, because it's, hey, we did it. We had no one on the dock, right? And the reason I'm sharing this story is because I think it's so applicable. And when I was talking to Brooke, and she was using, or point of reference, using her mountain biking, I could use it with anything, any single thing, but you're gonna feel the same. And I know I talk about this a lot, but now you're sort of getting a real sort of feeling. I don't know what you saw because I couldn't see it, but again, when I stand at those controls, right, you see how high up we are, right? And gotta do it, just gotta do it. I gotta trust that I'm gonna feel nervous going out, coming in. It's getting less though, because of the celebration part, the fact that I'm proud of myself for doing it. The fact that I talk myself through it. First, I'll do it without the engines on. I actually go through it in my mind and practice my hand movements to say, okay, I understand. And yesterday when we were coming in, right, the wind is pushing the boat because it was howling. It's not even really windy right now. And so I had to have, it was counterintuitive. I had to have my right engine, starboard engine, I had to have it in forward while I had my port engine in reverse just to go in a straight line. Which is, it seems counter, and the boat is like the two engines are fighting each other. And And all I'm doing is I'm pushing myself into the wind and really just keeping a straight line. But you're coming towards a dock with a great big boat. And again, I keep using this as a reference only because you have your own boats. And it could be a boat. Listen, if you have a boat and you're not using it much, I know that, and you know, because I'm a pilot as well, I mean, flying, if any one of you got in a plane right now, never flown before, actually flying the plane, it's like driving a car, right? There's a couple of small things with your feet. But landing and taking off, the same with the boat, is leaving the dock, right? So for most of you, if we look at your network marketing business, most of you will, you know, you can talk to people. You can, you can say hello. You know, oh, do you have a family? Do you have kids? You know, what do you love to do? Are you from here? Oh, which part of town do you live in? You know, what's your favorite restaurant? Anyone could do that, but walking up to them, which is like leaving the dock or coming back in, is the part we don't practice, is going up and just talking to strangers, which is a muscle. So we can relate this to, and that's why I like the podcast, because Brooke used mountain biking, but what she said was, she said she was 36 years of age, and then she realized at that age, she gave herself permission to start learning differently. She gave herself permission to be a disaster, and she gave herself permission to be messy, and she said it was, you know, she said she was humiliated because people would ride by her on a bike, you know, and they were 65 and they were like, you know, 30 years older than her, and they were kicking her butt. But that's right. So I'm giving myself permission to be messy, and you can in your business too. Give yourself permission to be messy. Give yourself permission to be a disaster. But we got to keep doing it. And now what she talks about, and like with this, I'm already feeling 1,000% better. And you know, over the next few weeks, you know, we'll go and practice it. Here's another example. We don't have to go put it in a tight slipper over there, but why wouldn't we practice that for when the day comes that I have to put it somewhere that's a bit trickier? Well, you know, maybe the winds are calm. Let's go practice that. Let's get practice just where we want the boat. And then when the wind picks up, I've done it. So again, I want you to relate this to any area of your life where you're holding back, where you have that sense of fear, apprehension, doubt, and uncertainty. That was the word I was looking for. Fear, apprehension, doubt, and uncertainty. And just understand, it doesn't matter how successful we are, it doesn't matter how wealthy we are, it doesn't matter how happy we are, that if we're going to approach life and really squeeze the juice out of it, really design it, then we got to go through this feeling often. Why? Because we're always wanting to learn and embrace and squeeze the juice out and live succulently, which means we're always going to feel like I felt yesterday. And that's the reason I wanted to share it today, was that sort of that deep apprehension and uncertainty, you know, coming in, especially when we're out in because when you go out the harbor here, I'll give you a little look, right? See over here? Go around the corner here, behind that mountain is the open ocean. We got out there and it's like, and white caps are crashing over the front of the boat, right? And so, you know, you think about anxiety levels going up. Yeah. And my mind keeps wanting to run forward to where? To the dock, where my mind is always trying to take me there. And some of you, your mind is running forward to the rejection, before you get into the conversation. What I had to do is keep my mind out there and navigate the waters and the big waves out there, coming into here, then navigating the buoys and preparing the boat, and then getting ourselves prepared and ready, make sure everything's set up, and then coming, and only here at the dock, well, a little bit further out, is to start to do this rather than out there doing it and putting myself into a state of a frenzy. Yes, I had the apprehension and the doubt and uncertainty, but I wasn't focused there. I was focused out there, because navigating one thing at a time. So if your homework then for your business is practice the conversation, practice talking to someone, say hello. You don't have to talk about your business yet. Get in the habit of walking up and engaging people, or if you're learning something, you know, start to embrace that feeling. Start to notice where it is in your body. I get it in my stomach, right? And I get a little bit like, really, I feel like I want to throw up sometimes, right? But feeling it and then notice that, oh my God, that's the feeling I get when I'm starting to learn. And beyond this feeling is competency, expert, master, you know, whatever, badass, right? But I know that the only way to get to that area over here of success is through this door. So I start to appreciate the feeling, even though at the moment it feels like I want to throw up. I still understand, oh, this is part of the learning process, which means I'm getting better. I'm a better boater today than I was yesterday with this large boat. And again, people joke on the dock, they say it's like a parachute. because it just the wind hits it, even a small wind, and the boat wants to move off on its own. It's got its own mind, right? But so anyway, so your homework then is to start to notice that feeling, start to embrace it, and start to celebrate it. Celebrate and give yourself permission to be a disaster. And give yourself a pat on the back, and then do it again, and do it again, and do it again. You know, share your story again and again and again and again until it oozes out of your mouth, and that feeling is gone. You don't even notice when it goes though, one day. But then you'll meet someone. Here's the interesting thing. I'll master this, but then one day I'll come in and there'll be a turbulent wind, right? Or the winds will be switching directions, and I'll have the same feeling again because it's new, and that will happen with you. You're going to be talking, you know, you feel like you really got your act together, and then you'll go talk to someone who you're scared of a little bit. Maybe, you know, they're very famous, or maybe they're, you know, a celebrity, or maybe that's the same thing, or maybe they're your banker or your father-in-law. So for some reason, the thing you can do naturally with most of the people, with that person, and that's why some people use that term, the chicken list, some people you'll have that anxiety come again. So I also understand, even though I get really, really good, I'm still going to have that feeling because the conditions are going to change. Some conditions I've got this. Other conditions are going to be like, oh crap, I hope I get this, right? And then I'm going to give myself permission. If I hit the dock, if I damage the boat, guess what? That's just part of the process. It can happen, but I'm not going to stop boating because of it, because one of the happiest places I ever am is out on the water. So definitely see you on the other side, and don't forget, it's those incremental little tiny things we can add every single day that will make the difference in our lives. All right, mwah! Ciao from Antigua. And also don't forget, subscribe, push the notifications, and push the notification bell, and share it with your friends, please. Come on, do it now. All right, ciao.